So when it comes time to actually turn in your homework, the first thing that we'll point out is all the lab submissions for any module will be submitted collectively. So for example, you'll complete lab 1, 2, and 3, and then all together those will be submitted in this spot. You can see the due date down there. So we have some time to still get that in. But let's look at the instructions that I have here. And just so you're clear on how to do this, always read the instructions. First of all, try to do it the way that it's indicated. And it says here, for each exercise, make sure to complete all the tasks as indicated in the instructions. When complete, take separate screenshots of your code, and that might be multiple screenshots, and screenshots of your code running successfully. And this seems like counterintuitive to anybody that's coded before, but this for me is actually a super easy way to grade and much more streamlined. And it also helps you create a chronicle of your work. So let me show you the process here. The first thing that you do, and you see I actually have one already created, and I'm not going to save it, is I'm going to create a brand new Microsoft Word document. Now, if you don't have Word installed on your computer, not a big deal. You could use Google Docs, or if you're on a Mac, you could use Pages. That's fine. You just need a word processor of some sort. But I'm going to use Word because I have it here. You could use the web-based version of Word, which is available to everybody through your WCTC account. I'm hoping you know how to do that. If you don't, pop me an email. I'd be glad to help you and show you how. But since this would be my module 1 labs, I'll give it that title. And then we'll have lab 1, which I think is entitled input and output. And then maybe I'll make this bold and make it a little bit bigger, right? And then what I'd like you to do is go back to your coding engine, whatever you're using, and then go to your start menu and type the following command. If you're in Windows, you type snipping tool, which is SNIPPING. Some of you already know this tool. And press enter, that will launch it. If you're on a Mac, use the spotlight search, which is control space, and then just type screenshot, and that'll bring up the screenshot tool on the Mac. Either one is fine. If you're using the snipping tool, what I want you to do is don't capture the whole screen. Don't do a print screen, right? Click this new button. You'll see how the screen grays out a little bit, and then it turns into a crosshair, and then I'm going to highlight my code. Now, the first thing I did is I already made a mistake here, right? So I'm going to redo this. Is I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to maximize this, and I'm going to maximize the height of my coding window here. And you can see I'm already going off screen with this. So I could zoom out, Control minus, Control plus to zoom in and out, by the way. And then I'll bring up that snipping tool again. I'll click new, and then I will highlight just the code. And you see how I'm grabbing all of it at once, right? I'm going to hit the copy button up here. You can do Control C also, that works. And then I'm going to go back over to Word or whatever processor you're using for documents and paste in that screenshot. Generally, the size of the screenshot, you know, I mean, this actually turned out pretty good. I'm going to say it's maybe a little on the small side, right? So you could zoom in or crop it or whatever. But I'm pretty satisfied. This is pretty good. It captured all the code. It's pretty readable, and it's on the screen. You'll notice right now that my cursor is flashing right down here on the corner. I'm going to press enter to move down to the next line. Now you see it down here. Then I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code, and now I'm going to grab the output from the terminal from the last run, if it's still there, right, which is right here. So this is the last run, which was successful. I'm going to use my snipping tool again and just capture that output. And probably that's okay right there. Not perfect, but close. I'm also going to copy that back over to Word. And then I'm going to paste that in. Right? And then the other thing I ask, if you could, and maybe, you know, if not only for your own sake, is maybe just give me a couple notes here, like, this was fun, or it was a nightmare, or whatever you tell me. Yeah, and thank you for laughing, but very, very sincerely, give me some feedback on how it went. If you learned something important, if you struggled with it, if you had problems, whatever, this is the spot to notate it. Also consider this kind of notes for yourself, because we're not like doing PowerPoints and textbooks here, right? So all the information that we're capturing, if there's information that you thought was an important takeaway and you didn't put it in your comments, you can add it here for later, right? And then of course, when this is all done, right, then you can move on to lab 2, right? And those screenshots would go there. When it comes time to submit your homework, what you'll do is you'll take this completed document, attach that first, and then you'll want to also zip your files. And I got to find the right folder here, but let's say all of my labs are in this folder here. To zip your files, you would just simply right click. And once again, I'm on Windows 11, right? So this is just a right click right off the menu. It says compress to a zip file. If you happen to be on Windows 10, you have to go, you'll see a menu that looks more like this. And then you go to send to compress zipped folder. On a Macintosh, you either control click on the folder or 2-finger tap if you have it set up for a right click, and then choose zip file or compress or something like that. I forget what it says on a Mac. And that way all your code files are together in one zip. Both of those would get attached to the assignment submission. And then, generally, just so you guys know how I grade, typically I don't open up the code files and run them unless I think I have to, right? Because I have questions about it working. And then if I have to, then I can find the problems and give you real detailed feedback. Generally, if you're coding along with me, it really shouldn't be necessary. The other thing that happens is when you're zipping it and we put it into Canvas, we're creating an archive, right? So like, let's say somebody like steals your laptop or bomb drops, your house blows up or catches on fire or something. I have backups of all your work, right? That's the other advantage to this. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here.